Hello everyone, let's have a React refresher. So maybe we're gonna render something on our screen in React way. Okay, let's see JSONPlaceholder. We have a lot to render on the screen. We can, for example, take this endpoint and let's see what we're gonna get at the end. And this is an example of the data that we're gonna receive. This is a to-dos with ID 1. So let's remove the ID. We're gonna see a whole list of this ID. So if we want to render all those, what's that, to-dos, all those to-dos, we can just reach this endpoint and render it on our page using a map function in React. So let's do that. Okay, what we have to do first is we have to start our React project, and let's see start a new React project. And what React recommends to use React powered frameworks. So we used to have something what's called create React app. We don't use it anymore actually, because there are some better ways to do it. For example, we can use Next.js, or we can use just a Vite, which is let's say a tool that allows us to easily create a React development environment. There is also Remix we can go with, and or Gatsby. It's quite popular, maybe not as it was. And Next.js. Let's go to Vite. Let's see how we can start project using Vite. Okay, we can go with vanilla, TypeScript, or React, or with TypeScript, and I always use TypeScript with React. So let's go. Okay, it's going to open a new project on StackBlitz, which is basically not what I want. What we want to do is we want to scaffold a new Vite project. So we're gonna use this npm create command. Let's copy this command and we'll see what happened. I've got a folder with my React project, so let's click here and we're gonna use cmd, and this is our console, and npm create Vite latest. We'll see what we're gonna get. Okay, so create Vite, press Y to confirm. Okay, project name, enter to-dos, enter, and we can select the framework and what we want to use. With the arrows we can go to React, enter, and we're gonna use TypeScript, and I think that's it. We can now go to our folder, and render to-dos is actually here, so we can now go with cd render to-dos. And okay, we don't have node modules, so we have to install them by following this command. So npm I, it's probably enough. Okay, I is a shorthand and it works. So now we can see our node modules are not yet there. As you can see, our node modules are already created, and the packages that we need, there is a whole bunch of packages are installing. So while it is being installed, I'm gonna grab a cup of coffee. My poor computer is not too fast. It looks like we have finally created our project, and we can now go with npm run. Or maybe first let's type code dot. So we're gonna open our VS Code in the context of this folder, and yes, it works. And now we can actually start our project. So npm run dev, and we'll see it's gonna work. And in package.json you can actually see those commands that we are executing. So scripts, when we run npm run dev, it's gonna actually execute this command. We also have something like build, preview, but we're not gonna use them actually because we're gonna use Vercel to deploy our project. And src folder holds our already created component by React, and now we can see under this localhost we should be able to see our project. And yes, it works, and we have a counter that is actually working. So let's remove all that code and render our list. But what we need to make it look a little bit nicer, let's actually get a Bootstrap to make our web looks a little bit better. And we can see some examples here, and we can just grab them. Okay, let's grab maybe this element that can be actually clicked, or maybe we will start with actually removing everything. Okay, this is div. Let's write h1. It works. We're not gonna need counter for now. CSS, let's remove that as well. Index CSS, we're gonna remove that. And let's see what's in main TSX is actually a root of our application. This exclamation marks indicates in Typescript that this element is actually exists in our HTML. Without that, there is nowhere to render our application. So we need to have, let's see if it's there. Actually, in the public, not public, in our index HTML, there is our div with ID root. So our React application is going to be injected by React here. Okay, we can see it works. We can also remove index CSS because we're going to use CSS from Bootstrap. And to add some CSS from get Bootstrap, we're just going to copy this URL, and inside our index HTML we're going to just paste a link to our style sheet. Now we can see that this font looks a little bit different because it comes from Bootstrap. Inside Bootstrap examples, we can steal this cover template, and for example, to do so, we're gonna just see the source code, and we can click this content and copy it. Okay, we have pasted that, and we don't have class in React, so we have to replace all that by clicking Ctrl H, and we're gonna replace that with class name. Replace all, get rid of that. Actually, we can save it and see our page. Okay, we can also add some classes to the HTML, and by saying database theme dark, we're gonna have a dark theme, and we also add some Bootstrap classes to the body. And we have something like this, which is probably enough for us. And what we actually wanted to do is we wanted to render our JSON placeholder to do. So run script, and we have to do like this. Let's actually copy this fetch. Let's create a piece of state by saying to-dos and set to-dos, and this is gonna be use state, and it's gonna be at first, let's say null, and we're gonna type it because we want to have null, or maybe this is our to-do array. So now what we have to do, we have to create an interface which is to-do, and let's see how actually our to-dos looks like. It contains probably this, which is user ID is gonna be ID number, title is gonna be a string, and completed is just a boolean. Now we want to render, or maybe we can see what our to-dos looks like. So to help ourselves with that, okay, our application looks like it is working. There is some bunch of stuff that we actually don't need. Let's remove it. We can render our to-dos by using a pre-tag from HTML, and with JSON.stringify method we actually can see the string representation of our to-dos, which is initially null. So let's see if we can put our to-dos like that to our user ID. What is that? This is a number. Why it's okay? Because it must be inside the array. So this is our example array of to-dos. This is an array with just single to-do. Okay, and let's duplicate that to have two of them with a unique ID. And now we're gonna use a map function from actually JavaScript to render those to-dos separately. So we have our to-dos. To-dos may be null, so if it's actually exists, we can map a single to-do, and inside to-do we know that it contains an ID which is going to be unique, and there is a to-do title. Okay, so we have successfully mapped it. Now remove this dummy data. Let's replace that with null again, and let's type here that this is empty list. So let's see how it looks. This is empty, and if there is no to-dos, there is, or maybe okay, to-dos equal to null, our list is empty, so we can conditionally render empty string if this evaluates to true. So to-dos is null, then this is empty. We can also have an array. So for example, array has a length equal to 0. This is gonna be or. We have to wrap it in parentheses, and now we have to-dos equal to null or to-dos which is an empty array, then we're gonna see empty. Okay, so let's fetch to-dos, and we can do it like by using our useEffect hook. Okay, so by using useEffect hook, we actually fetch our to-dos by fetching to these endpoints from JSONPlaceholder. What it returns is a response that we have to execute a JSON method on that, and this JSON actually should be our to-dos list, and this is working. So we can see here, this is our list of to-dos. We can also add, for example, a number by saying this is, let's say, I, and here is our I. Okay, we have rendered our multiple lot of to-dos, which is 200 of them. So what we can do as well is to remove this JSON.stringify, and let's quickly add some limit, which is const. It's gonna be limit, so set limit, and we're gonna use state for that, and it's gonna be, for example, limit is gonna be 5 initially, and we also don't have to type it because Typescript infers that this is actually a number, and when we are mapping our array, we want to slice first this array to a limit. So our to-dos is gonna be sliced by a slice method from 0 to our limit. Let's save that, and we now can see that there is just a 5 of our to-dos. So how to load more? It's simple. We need to update this limit to a bigger value. So how to do that? For example, let's change our link to just a button. Remove this. Looks the same, and we can say now load more, and we're gonna load more by saying on click. We're gonna execute a function which is gonna be set limit, and we set limit to the value of previous to previous plus, for example, 5. So let's click it, and it's actually working. So load more, there is an array slice from 0 to 10 at the moment, and load more 15, and so on. So React is efficiently updating our DOM, and that's it. We have rendered a to-do list from JSON placeholder. Thank you for watching.